help Russ cook. That's a saying that people need to start adopting on social media, right? All right, the Rams are favored in this one by 1.5 points. Time to get to some picks. I'm still going with the Seahawks. You guys talked about the differentiator being who can protect the football. We've seen 4 picks from Russell Wilson. I just feel like there's no way he's not going to go into this game with the number one coaching point of being protect the football. And if they protect the football, I think the Seahawks walk away with a win. What do you guys, Cynthia?
I'm putting on my oven mitts. This is one of my finest. You see my oven mitts? They're on now. I'm helping Russ cook in this one. I have 28-26 in this matchup. I have the Seahawks taking the road victory away from the Rams, really solidifying themselves atop the NFC West. I think their defense is primed to get better. We did see more pressure last week. Jamal Adams will integrate himself even further into this offense, and I think Russ cooks.
I do not. I have the Rams winning this game. I need to catch up on you, Cynthia. I think this is going to be one game that I do. You know why? Because Sean McVay owns Pete Carroll. 4-2 against them lifetime. Beat him last December when the Rams were really at their lowest and the Seahawks were at their highest. Now you got Brandon Staley, his defensive coordinator, making a lot of good calls for the Rams. I think they're a better coaching staff. They get the win at home. What game's next? And I feel like I'm a member of Bills Mafia here defending Josh Allen. He's a great runner, too, especially in the red zone. The Cardinals are favored in this game by 2.5, but I have the Bills winning 34-31. Josh Allen's coming off, I thought, the best game of his entire career, and I think they're more complete. They are one of the healthiest teams in the NFL, too. Almost everyone is available for them right now, and that makes a big difference when we're in the middle of November.
Greg, I pulled the old okey doke on you because this is one of my finest, and I do have the Bills pulling off the upset. Okay. Yeah. Oh, interesting. 28-27, a very close game. It's going to come down to probably a final possession. Josh Allen being very dynamic is the difference maker in this one, along with a stronger O-line. Their O-line is underrated in terms of how well they've been playing. This O-line is far better than the Cardinals O-line.
Ooh, I hate to go against a Freeland's finest, but I am. I'm going with the Cardinals in this one. Yes, the O-line is better in Buffalo, but the Cardinals have done a good job protecting Kyler Murray as well. And it actually, another difference maker is his ability to extend the plays. And I don't know if Buffalo's defense is going to be ready for that. They've played well, but Kyler Murray has only taken 10 sacks to Josh Allen's 20, and it's because he can make guys miss, extend the plays, and get outside of the pocket. But well, let's get right to picks here. The Bucs are favored by 6 in this one. Much like last week when I said the Panthers would play the Chiefs a lot tougher than that, I think that will be the situation this week as well. But I am going with the Bucs, even though they made me look like an idiot last week, something I do not need any help doing. Thank you, Tampa Bay. Cynthia, what do you got for me?
I have the Bucs in a closer than expected game. I have a 4-point win, 28-24 in this one. I'm still looking to see if Ali Marpet's playing. That is a big deal. Guards are a huge deal. So keep an eye on that one because the Panthers can bring the heat. So I'm a little bit concerned. It's not going to be a blowout like in week 2. This is a different situation. Even without Christian McCaffrey, I definitely think this is going to be a closer game. Greg?
I'm surprised you're not honking and bragging that you had the Saints beating these Bucs last week. I mean, you even talked about what a big deal Ali Marpet would be not being in there, and you were right. I hope you're right again because I have the Bucs winning a very similar score by 5 points. I just don't think the Panthers' pass rush can do much against Tom Brady this week, so I think the Bucs will score. We got a lot more coming up.
All right. Raiders are favored by 4 in this one. Let's get the picks. I'm going with the Raiders. I do think they are a lot better team than people have talked about. I mean, they beat the Chiefs, this deciding victory against the Browns. They're legit. And in this one, I picked the Broncos last week. Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, shame on you, or something like that, Tanner said. All right, go ahead, Cynthia. What do you got?
Can't fool me twice. That's what I think you should get on that one. I have the Raiders winning in this matchup as well. The interesting part here, 27-24, that's the score. I have Josh Jacobs having a monstrous game because he's taken the most attempts between the tackles. 3.4 yards per attempt is his average. And Denver is pretty nice, like 4 yards per attempt allowed on defense. So I think Josh Jacobs will have a big game.
I have the Raiders, the exact same score, 27-24. I guess I'm off the Broncos train here. You hurt me, Broncos. I've been backing you all year. You only show up late in the fourth quarter. Why you got to make me look so dumb? Cynthia, please save me. Look smart doing some math. All right, Eagles are favored by 3.5 points in this game. I have the Eagles winning by 4. It's all depends on like which way do you want this NFC East season to go? Do you want it to be kind of like a slow death, like a long punchline? Like if the Giants win, that's the kind of year we're getting. If the Eagles win this game, they're way ahead. They're 4-4, and everyone can stop clowning the NFC East. The Eagles can save us with a victory this Sunday. What do you say, Cynthia?
I have the Eagles saving us with that victory. I think the final score is a touch closer than you have. I have 24-21 in this matchup, so just 3 points for me. I think that it all comes down to what are you going to get from Carson Wentz and those receivers. So I think you got to look for fantasy purposes. This could be the Wentz situation if you're desperate for a quarterback. What do you have, Hawk?
I'm going with the Eagles, too. I do think Carson Wentz plays better with some of these weapons back into the lineup. I think the confidence that he'll have with the guys around him will elevate his game, and we will see the proper resurgence of Carson Wentz, of an elite quarterback. Steelers are favored in this one by 7.5 points. We're going right to picks here, and I'm going to pick the Steelers. But I will say, be careful, Pittsburgh fans, because this has all the makings of a trap game. If you've watched the Bengals play at all this year, they're a lot better football team than their record shows, and they've snuck up on a lot of teams and kind of had them on the heels a little bit. Obviously, a division game, kind of a rivalry, depending on which side you ask. So it has the makings for a trap game. What do you have here, Cynthia?
I have a closer game than some might expect as well, 28-20. Now, it depends on who you ask how close this game is. More than a touchdown. The interesting part here is that Ben Roethlisberger being back, you got to keep a double check, triple check, an eye on that. It is entirely possible that he's not. However, I want to talk about Joe Burrow under pressure, as in he really hasn't been under that much pressure, but when he has been, it's been a problem. So he's doing things to kind of keep himself away from it. However, yeah, the Steelers, they bring a lot of pressure, the most in the NFL. I think it's going to be a long day for Burrow.
I see. I got the Steelers 27-20. That's a big point difference there between me and Cynthia, and it's because of my man Stephon Tuitt. You talked about the Pittsburgh Steelers pass rush. I've been meaning to talk about Stephon Tuitt every week, just thinking like this guy is having a great season and no one's talking about him. TJ Watt gets the attention, Roethlisberger. Stephon Tuitt is the man. And I started thinking there's no time like the present. It's 2020. Who knows what's going to happen in the next week? Let's give Tuitt his love right now before the world falls apart. This guy's playing great, and I think it's going to be a good game. Joe Mixon is doubtful, though, and that is not going to help things. Ricky, what's next?
Chargers at Dolphins. 5th pick versus the 6th pick. 2 of our 3 analysts are number 1 picks in my book.
I think I'm the 3rd, and I don't care because I'm taking the upset in this game. The Dolphins are favored in this game by 1.5, and I have the Chargers winning. Each week you watch Tua Tagovailoa, and he certainly improved a week ago. The number one thing that he improved was his athleticism. The problem is, as good as he played against Arizona, he's really having to carry this team in a way I don't think the Dolphins want him to. The running game is really banged up. They lost Preston Williams. The offensive line is a bit of an issue. So I love what I'm seeing out of Tua in terms of his athleticism, but I think they could trip up this week. What do you think, Cynthia?
I like your score, but I have the exact opposite winner in this one. And because of Tua. Why? Because Tua has actually been pretty, like when you look to see what happens against the blitz, he's done all right. And there's only been 2 games, so let's just see what happens. However, you know who doesn't blitz very often? The Chargers. So he has a situation where even though he's got to, got to get a few more reps before we go ahead and say he's really great. We don't exactly know yet. This is a situation that is prime for him to continue his development. What do you have, Hawk?
Yeah, I'm going with the Dolphins too, Cynthia, and I like what I've seen out of Tua. I mean, Greg talked about him having to carry this team more than they want, but that's something that I liked about it. The first game, and we have a small sample size, but the first game the defense carried him. Last game, he was able to fill the void and whatever this team needed to get the W against a budding quarterback and career in Kyler Murray, and honestly an undercover MVP pick. So for that reason, I think Tua continues that trajectory and they get the W this week. We have the Saints and the 49ers. We're going right to picks here. Saints are favored in this one by 9.5. I'm not going to make the mistake I did a week ago, Cynthia, and pick against them. I'm going with the Saints. The 49ers facing way too many injuries for me to put my sports media career on the line. Cynthia, what do you got?
I didn't know we were putting our sports media careers on the line for this one, but I too have the Saints in this one. I have 31-20. I had an 11-point win for the Saints. I also want to point out that Michael Thomas is going to have more than 62 receiving yards, at least 63, and he hasn't seen the end zone yet. Then that's going to change in this matchup because that secondary is depleted, which means opportunity for Thomas.
Yeah, I have the exact same score, 31-20. It's a little weird when that happens. I have the Saints win. You know, I'd like to think that the model isn't copying off me. Like, Cynthia went first, but I don't know. My article comes out earlier. The score is the same. There's just too many.
I sent my scores in way earlier than you.
Okay, I never let facts get in the way here. And one fact is that the Saints have one player on the injury report. The 49ers have to be so jealous of that right now. Let's move on to the other primetime game this week, the Ravens and the Patriots. The Ravens are favored by 7 in this game. I have the Ravens winning comfortably, 35-17. This is the number 1 rushing team in the league in terms of yards against the Patriots defense, who's one of the worst defending the run. They couldn't stop the Ravens last year when they had a good Patriots defense. I do not think they're going to be able to stop them now.
Okay, so I have 26-18 in favor of the purple team. The interesting note here, though, is that I have Lamar Jackson not passing for more than 215 yards. I think about 200 is about as high as I would go. I think the run game is what bolsters this. So you want to make sure and not expect Lamar Jackson to pass for as many yards as, maybe some other guys who are mobile like Jackson. However, 200, that's about right. 215, that's a little too much.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly don't think Lamar would have to pass for over 200 yards in this game. And for that reason, I'm going with the Patriots. And I also am kind of wincing watching the Patriots offense go against this Baltimore defense because I think it could get uglier than people even realize. Yeah, I'm going Ravens in this one, in case that wasn't clear. All right, next up, we have the Vikings at the Bears. The Vikings are favored by 2.5 in this one. I'm going to go with the Vikings because Dalvin Cook has been balling, and even though this Bears defense is stout and is specifically good against the run, I still think Cook is a man on the mission, and honestly, he's making a very, very strong case into this MVP race. What do you guys think?
Well, Dalvin Cook is a strength of the team for sure. However, this is one of my finest because I actually have the Bears winning this one on Monday in Chicago. Bill Lazor's calling the plays. Matt Nagy just announced that Lazor loves to throw the ball. Allen Robinson's going to be a great pick for this one. I also want to point out that Kirk Cousins, I don't have him slated to throw for more than 227 yards. The Bears defense is still excellent, and Kirk Cousins will still turn the ball over. So as good as Dalvin Cook is, and he is really good, Kirk Cousins not good enough to overcome that stingy Bears defense. And I'm really just, I think I might be the only one on this one. This might be my lone wolf this week. Greg, what do you have?
Yeah, you are, because I have the Vikings winning this game by a touchdown. I'm a little worried that both Hawk and I are on Kid Cuzzy in primetime, and she's got a Freeland's finest. I only started laughing early. I thought you said Kirk Cousins was going to be in the MVP race. It might be like a little early for that. I think I misheard you. But I do want to see this Vikings team win in primetime. They're fun to watch. They might not be out of it yet. Let's go to another team in the NFC North, the Packers, who are favored by 13.5 over the Jaguars. Here's an MVP candidate, Aaron Rodgers. I have the Packers winning by 2 touchdowns in this game. A little worried for the Packers that they will be likely without Jair Alexander. Their great cornerback is doubtful on the injury report, so that could help the Jaguars offense. But still, the Packers should put up too much offense and too many points to lose this one. I got them by 2 touchdowns. What about you, Cynthia?
Same thing. 2 touchdowns for me. Slightly different score, 33-19. So completely different. Just be mindful, Laviska Shenault is on the injury report. He might not play, so don't get cute with those picks. But I do want to point out that your guy, James Robinson, he's going to have more than 77 rushing yards against the Packers, who've given up all of the rushing yards this season. And also, I want to point out DJ Chark he's going to have, over 56 receiving yards? That's going to be great. So Chark will be a good pick still, especially with Alexander potentially gone.
Yeah, I'm going with the Packers as well. Aaron Rodgers is a legit MVP candidate. Need to clear my name here. I did not say Cousins is an MVP candidate, Greg. I said
it's my bad. Yeah.
It's an undercover. It's all right. I get it. I just got, again, my sports media career comes first, so I got to make sure I make that clear. All right, next up, we have the Washington football team at the Lions. Lions are favored in that one by 3. Cynthia will be glad to hear this. I am going with the Lions. And I got to give a shout out to Marvin Jones and Mo Sanu, who are finally back on the same team. And in my group chat, all is right in the world. Cynthia, what do you got?
I have the Lions 27-21. I don't love it because TJ Hawkinson, he somehow showed up on the injury report. Yowzas, that scares me a bit. However, I like the Sanu pick. I think that's great. And I think on the other side, Terry McLaurin is going to have a scary game. Again, over 73 yards. I wanted to look up some funny stat about how well he did against Michigan because, of course, he went to Ohio State. But I thought that would just be mean to the people who are from the place where I'm from. So just know Terry McLaurin will do well in Michigan yet again.
Wow. Such confidence from the model. 6-point win. I've got the Washington football team in an upset. Yeah, I don't think enough people are talking about Alex Smith from a week ago. It's gone from what I think has been a nice story, and everyone's thinking, okay, this is great. He came back. I thought he looked like an NFL quarterback. He looked like you would expect Alex Smith at 36 years old to look. And that's a guy who's going to have a job in the league beyond this year. And what a great story it would be to go to Detroit and get his first win as a starter. And if you break Cynthia's heart along the way, that's just what comes with football. Finally, Texans and the Browns. The Browns are favored by 3.5 in this game. I have the Browns winning by 2. It's a tough pick. I don't think there's much separating these two teams, but Nick Chubb will be back. That's what we expect. Wyatt Teller, the guard of the Browns, should be back. And so the run game for the Browns gives them a little bit of an edge, even though we know the better quarterback is with the Texans.
Absolutely, the better quarterback is with the Texans. However, I have a 4-point win for the Browns. So 28-24 is my final score in this one. That's a pretty big difference from yours, Greg. And I think, though, the funny part is I do still have a very good, strong projection for Chubb, meaning over 80 rushing yards for him. And I think so your reason for saying, well, they'll keep it close is the same reason why I'm saying Nick Chubb is just going to go bananas and he's going to have a wonderful game against the Texans. So Baker Mayfield doesn't have to be throwing the ball all down the yard in the second half. What do you have, Hawk?
Yeah,
do it.
Nick Chubb being
Hawk.
back is absolutely the key. I'm going with the Browns, and that's where my heart is. I'm not going to lie that my head tells me this is the game that happens every Brown season, that someone comes in and we take an L here, but I'm going to stick with the graphics that are on the screen now, and I'm going to go with Browns, so I'm going to keep the producers happy.
I'm giving you an L. Fans. Make a stand. Now you're trying to cover yourself both either way. I mean, come on.
All right, you know what? I'm going with the Texans. That's it.
Yeah,
we're going to change it out. I'm picking the Texans.
Switch it.
I'm picking the Texans in the upset. Don't get mad. This is my head thinking. All right.